All right, you're live.
Thing ain't live yet. No, it's not up. There it is. That thing here is when I look at that round circle, see where it shows like you get turned red or something for live. I updated that picture. Hit the regenerate thing over there. Should take care of it. Yeah, see, it's red now. See. Danger live. It's up here.
It's up there.
Well, that black thing is.
Well, I know that.
There you go. Look at that. Just like magic. And Danny looks younger than her, don't he?
Yeah, he never ages. He looks the same as he did
He's one of the
years
people
ago.
that never ages.
You don't age, Dan.
Look,
Just looking at you.
quit doing that. It's gonna be the music too loud. Facebook will flag music. That's why I try not to play too much.
So,
Are you ready?
mm-hmm.
We got a minute.
Oh, I need my sponsor stuff.
Got a minute and 6 seconds. That's when you want to go.
Did I get that?
We got a bunch of stuff to get out of the way. I'll try to introduce Danny before I do it. I don't like guests sitting everywhere not being able to talk. One, two. Yeah, 1, 2 in Maine. And get ready, because here I come. Welcome everybody to the On Track with Mike show. Got another great show for you tonight. Last week we didn't get on here because of Greencastle Antrim softball. We went through basketball, now we're in softball season. So we got a few weeks of that. I don't know how many shows hit. I got to look at the schedule. I think it's only a couple. But that gives us all a little break, I guess, to get something else done. But yeah, we're live here on WRGG 93.7 FM and got probably some great stories this evening if we can get the man to talk. I know I've heard some of his great stories, but I don't remember. I don't know how many of them we can talk about on the air. I'm joking. But let me live his mic up and Shirley's mic, and we can say hi to him. Well, yeah, there we go. We got Danny Lichliter in studio. Danny, how you doing?
I'm going good.
See, already he's talking, Shirley, already.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
But we got a few things here to discuss before we get into Danny here. But we lost a great guy here. I got an opportunity to meet him up at Kurt Hershey's years ago, and he was a character. I kind of called him the Ernie Moe of the sprint cars because he kind of reminded me of Ernie Moe. But Cowboy Jim Kennedy passed away. And I mean, he was running a 305 sprint car up till probably a year or two ago. Did you ever meet him, Danny?
I think he was at Curtis's one time when I was there.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
And Kurt always told me when he won or victory lane, he yodeled. So Kurt had him yodel for me. And I mean, he was really good. And he was he's one of them people that, like, we don't have much of nowadays. Like, nowadays, everybody just kind of like, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but like he's one of them personas that stood out, and they called him the Flying Cowboy, lifelong racing enthusiast. He was married to his wife for 72 years, had children. He began his racing career in 1958 and went on to spend an incredible 68 years behind the wheel, competing in 305s and 410 sprint cars. His passion for racing carried him through August of 2025, earning him recognition as a dedicated and respected figure in the sport. In honor of his achievements, he was inducted into the PA Race Saver Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's amazing. I know I seen him on the track. I knew it was a year ago or so. August 2025 must have been his last race. And he was 90, I guess he'd be 91 years old.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, I think he was 91 years old. Yeah, I think he was 92 when he passed, I think. I didn't do the math. But anyway, thoughts and prayers to Jim Kennedy's family. Thoughts, I can't even speak. Friends and family. He's one of the great people in our sport that made the sport what it is. Did one of them guys that didn't buy something unless he had to buy it, and I was glad I met him. Also, prayers for a speedy recovery for Anthony Macri. He has compression fractures of T4 and T5, and there's no time of when he's going to be able to return to the race car after an accident there at Williams Grove. Also, best wishes to Keith Walls. He hurt his arm up at BAP Speedway there Saturday evening. Hit the wall and did something to his arm there. I seen it all wrapped up there on Facebook. I don't really know what's going on with it. And also, congrats to Brian and Annette Booz on getting married. She finally got a real ring, Shirley. She got rid of that 4-link spacer that he gave her in Victory Lane at Hagerstown Speedway. He proposed to her at Hagerstown. Well, I didn't know it. He gave her like a 4-link rod spacer or whatever, and he's like, "We're gonna have to have that back because we might need it on the car." And I said, she didn't even get a ring. He says she got a 4-link spacer, but I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. I guess we're all caught up on everything, I think, so far.
Well, one thing you forgot, do want to have continued prayers for Alan Saggy's wife, Debbie Saggy. She is sick and in the hospital, so keep them both in mind.
Yes, I just
She's been
recently
pretty
found out
sick, I
about
think.
that. I don't know how you've seen it, but I didn't. I haven't seen nothing.
Put your glasses on. Your eyes, not your head.
Oh. Prayers to them. I'm sorry, Alan. I didn't know. She ain't pregnant, is she?
Better ask Alan that.
Oh, just a guess. Maybe she's listening, and we made her laugh, Shirley. Maybe we made her laugh. We might have made her
Okay.
day.
Well, if anybody, if Debbie's not watching this, make sure you mention to her so she can look at it, so she can get a good laugh.
That's about all I'm good for.
Well, we're going to move on to sponsors. How about that?
Okay, go ahead.
We want to thank our sponsor, Todd with TA Ward Construction. He's a local veteran with over 40 years experience. He's fully insured If you need any home improvement needs, contact Todd at 717-331-4974. Also, I always want to let you all know there is 3 ways to watch or listen to the On Track with Mike. You can watch on the On Track with Mike Facebook page. You can listen with the WRGG 93.7, or you can go to the WRGG.org live listen and hit that button to listen. Now I'm back to you, Mike.
We're going to have to give you a pay cut because you're doing a terrible job.
Well, fire me.
Danny, you see how I get myself in trouble? Do you see it? It comes easily. But if I didn't pick on her and didn't act like this, then she would think something was wrong because we do this. I mean, it's usually her and the dog against me, so I'm by myself. So
If I have the dog, I win.
yeah, he bit me this morning. Look at that. I got proof. I got proof. I got bit. She pushed him and I got bit. Tell me how that's fair. You got anything going on there?
Nope. Don't have no comments.
No comments for Danny.
Well, maybe they need to learn a little bit about Danny.
We're going to tell him. We're going to give him a history lesson. I didn't know who Danny Lichliter was till probably early 90s, probably.
And he still looks the same.
He still looks the same.
He hasn't changed any.
Nope, he looks like he just got out of the race car just a couple of days ago. Danny, let's get started from the beginning. I've never really heard your story. I've heard a lot of stories, but I never really heard your story. How did you get into? Was your father in racing, or
My dad and his cousin, back in the 50s, they had a race car that they ran. They ran at Winchester. And Dad helped out with that some. But when I was little, when I was about 4, 5 years old, Winchester used to run on Friday nights
really?
back then.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it was early 60s when I first went to the racetrack, and it was like, I loved it. I was like, this is what I want to do. I was probably only 4 years old, if that. And then where my dad worked at, they had a race car there that the guys that owned the Ford dealership that he worked at, they had a race car. And when I was little, man, we would go over during the week sometimes. They'd be working on the race car, and that was
At 4 years old.
well, probably 5, 6 at the time. But that was what I loved. I remember one night we was over there and they had the race car there, and I took and wiped it. They had mud on it. I took just a rag and I wiped that whole race car down with taking a rag and wetting it down and getting the mud stuff off of it when I was a kid. And that was just.
Yeah, but it felt like you was really doing something. You was. That's.
Oh yeah, and the guys that owned the car, they were great. E.J. Kerfoot, he was always. Him and I, when we grew up, we ended up was friends, and stuff and everything. In fact, my first late model, I bought off of him. The very first late model that I had, I bought that off of him.
And it was race ready, or was it already a race car?
It was a race car. It was actually a race car that Jimmy Saffle's dad.
Really?
Big Jimmy drove, yes.
Because I know you guys built a lot of your stuff.
Well, we built a lot of the very first ones. The very first car that I had, there's a fellow, Tink Rinker. He just passed away back here about 2 months ago. But Tink, they lived about 2 miles away from us. And I started hanging out over there with them when I was probably 18, 19 years old. And just messing around with them some and everything. Well, when I turned, I guess I turned 20, I had gotten another job working in the printing industry. I was a mechanic up till then, but I wasn't making very good money. And my thing was, I thought, man, if I'm going to have a race car, I I have to be making some money somewhere. I was still living at home and stuff at the time. So I ended up going into the printing business, working at that, saving money up and everything. Well, I said something, or told Tink, I said, hey, let's build a race car. I like to drive. And they just started the grocery getter class at Winchester that year. So we build this race car. We come out it was middle of the season. It was probably June or somewhere in that area there. And that was the first time I was ever on the track. And I was like, my eyes got opened up really big. It was like, man, this is harder than what I thought it was going to be. Exceptionally.
Yeah,
So,
most people think that, like, I know some of Shirley's relatives are like, you go to a family picnic, there's always a drunk guy that comes up to you and is like, I could run that car down through the mountains wide open in the dark with, beer in my hand, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, listen, it's more about finesse than it is, like, being crazy and running it wide open, all the way around the track.
well, this here, at that time, you was limited to 78 series tires, which was a real narrow tire, street tire. And I think that was a lot because you had to be smooth with them things when you on the throttle and all that. But the very first race I was in, I spun out twice, and it was like, it was really.
Was you like, man, what did I get myself
fun,
into?
Wasn't it?
I can't say it was fun. I'm not kidding you. I was totally ready to just say, all this build up.
He was that disgusted.
It was that disgusting.
Now but since Tank was helping you, at least you didn't go into it like blindsided though. You had a little bit of guidance.
What we had was they had the late model, which was actually it was different than what the cars, the suspension underneath of it. I was sitting on the trailer that night, on the edge of the trailer, and I was pretty well. Well, Tommy Irwin come up.
Tommy Irwin.
And Tommy always called me Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah. He comes up, he goes, Daniel, he goes, what do you think? I said, man, I'm telling you, I don't know about this. He said, but he said, what's wrong? I said, man, I can't even keep up. Doesn't seem like keep up under caution. I said, without the back end of the car wanting to come out from underneath of me. And he told me, that was Saturday, he goes, I'll be up Monday evening. And he said, let's look at the car. We'll see what's going on with it. So he comes up to Monday evening up to the shop. He went by Lee Stoltz's place, had picked up weight checker and stuff and everything. Come up there and he started working on the car. So he goes around the car with this weight checker, which I don't know if you remember the old things that stuck in the wheel.
And you see how much pressure is on the wheel.
On it and everything. And
I didn't know they had them back then.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he comes around the car, goes around there, and he comes back around to me. He goes, Daniel, there's nothing wrong with this car at all. I said, it's not. He goes, no. He said, if you was making right-hand turns. So,
well, it should have been tight then.
It was. So anyway, he goes along, and of course, Tink and them, they had a junkyard there. So we go up, and we start pulling springs out from underneath the vehicles and everything. Went down the next week. That thing was just totally different. I was like, okay, I can do this. But the only problem was we couldn't get it to run down the straightaway. You get about halfway down the straightaway, and it just started fluttering. So that was the second time we went. And of course, they only lined us up and done 10 laps. You didn't run no heat races. You just showed up and just showed up and run 10 laps, and that was it.
So by the time you figured out something was wrong,
well, we was trying to figure
deal with it.
So anyway, we go down the third night and going out there, went through a bunch of stuff and everything, and it done the same thing. Pulled it back in. Comes in, my dad comes, he goes, I know what's wrong with that thing. He takes where it goes into the carburetor, had a stone filter in it. Pulled that stone filter out and we threw it across the fence. Went down the next week and it ran.
Wow.
And, yeah. That was pretty much with that. And then I can't remember. I think it was, the first year I did win one race.
And what kind of car was this?
I'm even ashamed to say because what it was a '65 Malibu SS.
Really?
Yeah.
A real SS car?
Yes. It had the chrome console in it when I.
Back then, it probably wasn't a big deal.
No, I bought it for $75.
Plus, it was a Chevy,
Yeah.
so that was probably against it to begin with.
Well, right then I didn't care. I just wanted something. I wanted to be a race car driver. And like I say, when I was,
But man, how many people? I mean, I had a lot of guidance, but like, it's amazing that you knew these people already. Like, you know, that Tommy Irwin would come by and, hey, I'm going to come down to your house, and he stopped at Lee Stoltz Garage. I mean, it's like amazing.
well, Tommy had a Napa store in Strasburg, and a friend of mine that I run around with and everything, Delmer Hines, that's another one. Delmer had,
I ain't heard that name for years.
yeah, Delmer, he worked for Tommy, and we kind of hung out together, and I hung out down at his place and there at the Napa store and everything, and that's how Tommy and I got to being friends.
Because I mean, it's hard to get. I don't know how it was back then, but it's hard to get assistance. I mean, like, it's hard to find people that know what they're doing. And you had everybody right there.
Yeah, I had them. They was pretty much. I mean, he helped out getting everything as far as that the first year and everything. What happened the week before I won my first race, the car got pretty much. I got in a wreck, and that thing, the quarter panels was folded into the trunk floor, and Tink's brother Larry, he was my body man. He's the one that painted the car, and he done all that, and he was great. Larry was great, and we took a porta power, the hammer, and everything. That thing, it looked like a bag of marbles when we took it to the racetrack the next week in the back part of it, and it was. But
And then you went out and won with it.
won with it that night.
How did you feel?
It was.
Did you feel like you was a success then?
I thought, man, this here's we can do this. It was. So my cousin, that car there, my cousin Gary Totten, who used to race, he gave me the roll cage and stuff for that. And that's what we put in that car. He had a roll cage and stuff. But the next year, when we built one, I bought a Canadian cage, and we put a Canadian cage in another.
What's a Canadian cage?
The old Canadian cages that they had back then. They come out of Canada. You could buy a whole roll cage kit.
Really?
Hoop, everything, and all the stuff, bars and everything on it. You could buy it as a kit.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't make roll cage kits later on, but this was probably.
Well, they actually made cars. They had cars, too. The one car Tink had was a Canadian car.
Really?
Before he went to, then after that, he went to a Chivacas.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Man, you didn't think that stuff was available back then.
No, it was.
Canadian car.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. I think quite a few of them had the old Canadian. They was probably, I'm not for sure, but they was probably one of the first ones that had the cars as kits.
Refresh.
Uh,
Yeah, something don't seem right though.
Something's not right. Y'all continue. I'm gonna see if I can fix this.
Did your dad say anything to you? Was your dad happy or?
oh, yeah, he was excited. I mean, everybody. The first picture I have of there was a guy, photographer at the track. I don't know what his real name was, but everybody called him Grandpa Groovy. And he had a tattoo shop, and he took pictures down there in Winchester. And he always had to take the pictures in black and white because he would submit all of the pictures to the newspaper, and they had to be in black and white.
Really?
So my first victory, it looks like it's ancient because of being black and white.
What's the car with that's in black and white? Was it number 20?
Yeah,
Was that it?
yeah.
Really?
Well, the first two.
The one we have on the Facebook there had used.
That was the second car.
Okay. And I seen it was one with Tank with you.
Yeah, the one with Tink with me. That was my first win.
What year was that?
1980.
1980. That's whenever racing just started getting. I mean, racing was before that, but I mean, 80 seemed like was the Maybe just because I remember it more, but it seemed like 80s was when everything broke loose. Troy's over here screwing everything up.
Fine.
There it worked.
We're having
We knew
some,
something was wrong.
We're having some internet issues again tonight. So I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up here with everybody.
She knew something wasn't right.
I just couldn't believe that we wasn't getting anything. I do have Todd Ward on here, and he says, liking the racing stories. John Malungi says, hello, gang.
Hey,
hello,
John.
Matthew Baker says, hi, guys.
Hey, Matthew.
And Daryl Kendall says, hello, gang.
Hey, Daryl. Yeah, we don't know what happened. Something, it wasn't, the comments wasn't coming through.
It wasn't coming through.
And we knew something wasn't right because you always have a couple comments.
I apologize for that, guys.
So where did things go from there, Danny?
Oh, Peggy Kershner says, I'm watching.
Um,
And Jamie Myers says, hey, old man.
We just said you never aged.
Yeah.
Jamie, he just looks the same as he did years ago.
There's Keith.
Keith Walls says, hello, guys. And he says, 4 to 6 recovery.
Okay.
Thanks for the update, Keith.
See, that was on there, and we didn't. Nothing was coming in. We don't know why, but Danny broke the internet. So how long did you run these V8 cars?
I ran them for 2 years.
It was the grocery getter class.
Yes, grocery getter.
And that was a tough class.
Oh yeah, you'd have like sometimes 40 cars there,
Yeah.
and you're running 10 laps.
Yeah.
And the guy that won the week before, he finished last, or started last.
Yeah.
It
You ain't telling me nothing.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty.
remember the early 4-cylinder days.
It was pretty tough back then with some of that. I mean, and well, I think first year I run, Daryl Burkholder, I run with him. He had one of them. That's the only one I can really remember.
Back in the 80s, I don't know when Daryl Kendall started. He ran them because he ran with Wayne Johnson and all. That might have been mid 80s, maybe. I don't know if they went. I'm pretty sure most of them guys did go to Winchester, but remember Wayne Johnson had the Camaro Zero, and Daryl had the pink Camaro. That was probably in the mid 80s, probably. Probably a little later.
Yeah, we ran them for 2 years, and then I had 2 years there where I didn't do a whole lot. I did race for another boy that was there. We did a few races. Went to Potomac down there. Knocked the flagpole down at Potomac one night.
Hopefully it was after the national anthem.
Well, it was. He had an old car. It was an old thing, and the rear end broke on it, and it went up on the guardrail and rode the guardrail.
Peggy Kershner says she's watching.
What are you doing now? She's shopping.
Yeah.
Messing with her, what is it? Kohl's Cash.
Oh.
No.
So where we
I
go
don't
from
have
there,
any of
Danny?
that.
Well, I guess from there is when I bought the late model.
You decided to go late model racing.
Well, what happened? What it was Waynesboro East Side. They had like downsized the car. They had put specs on to the late models. You had to run a stock carburetor. Had to run basically stock bottom end and stuff and everything. So I decided that the race car that EJ had, I was going to get that. We put the motor in it, or build a motor and put in it, and race that. So first year of that was pretty good. We had some decent finishes. Finished second up there one night with the fair race, and that was a big fiasco on that night. It was a lot of things happening that night. I got barred from the track, and I didn't know I got barred when I got barred from it. That was on a Wednesday night, and nobody knew what had went on actually.
Did you show back up again, or did you?
Well, what happened was I ended up running second, and I'm not going to name any names or anything, but the guy that was leading, he spun out, and they had another caution at the time too. So what it ended up was they put him back in front of me, and I was running second, and the leaf spring on the right rear. The main ply had broke off and it had flipped over out of the car, and it was dragging behind the car.
Digging a hole in the track.
Because, well, I had gotten in a wreck. They had a big pile up. I had gotten into that. And Dad told me, he goes, the only thing I seen the last time I seen it, he said the car was up in the air, which it probably was. It was probably about 4 or 5 feet in the air because I went across somebody else. And he said it disappeared into a cloud of dust. And he goes, I didn't know what was going on or what happened or anything. So anyway, got back out on track. Had to start back, and the car, I thought, when it just lunged one time. All of a sudden, I didn't know what had happened. Then after that, it was like, man, this thing's, wow.
Really good.
Yeah.
You broke it good.
So anyway, I come up through the field there and got up to second and was sitting there. And I think it was a longer race. Well, in fact, I know it was. It was a longer race because it was one of their fair races. And, man, sit there and it was like, okay. Just kept going. And then next thing you know, like say that happened. Well, then when I come in off the pit or off the track, it's like all these people. It was like 100 people coming just around the car. And I'm thinking, oh, boy. So I reached over and I thought, pulled the fire extinguisher out, stuck it down between my legs. And all these people come out there.
But you didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing. They come along. They said, "You won that race. Go over to the flag stand. You won that race. You won that race." And I said, "Nah, not going to do that." I mean, it was just Dad and I. We didn't go. We didn't go start nothing, do anything. So, anyways, like this great big huge crowd of people, and then all at once it's just like this huge crowd of people goes across the infield, goes over to the flag stand, and was arguing for you. Oh, it was. From what I understand, it got to be a pretty big mess
because they put that other guy back up front.
Well, there was some. That place was rough anyway, but there was some stuff going. And the promoter, he got knocked around a little bit and everything. So we go back on. Never heard anything. We went back on Saturday.
You guys
night.
Just loaded up and went home.
Well, we just loaded up and went home. Yeah. So I was tickled to death to finish second. So anyway, we come back on Saturday night. They weren't going to let us in. So
you're like, what did I do?
I went to the promoter, and the promoter told me, said, after that fiasco, you started here. I said, I didn't start nothing. I explained to him. I said, we went back to the trailer. I loaded up, and we didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with that at all.
Did he believe you?
After what I told him, I said, I didn't come over. I said, they wanted me to come over under the flag stand. I said, what do you think it would have been then? So he was like, okay. And then I think he talked to a few other people about it, everything of what had happened. But like I say, it wasn't too much of a time lapse in between there from Wednesday to Saturday night that he found out anything at, what had went on. So that was.
Wow.
That was the mess that was with that.
I'm telling you, I don't know when exactly what year I met your father. But I can tell you right now, I was young and he was older. And I've seen him get wound up at the track. And I guarantee you, I wouldn't have messed with him. I remember one day he dared, 4 or 5 guys off a trailer.
Yeah.
And he's about
5'3",
4'8", and he's down there, and he ain't none of them guys moving an inch. And I was like, I don't blame you.
I had to calm him down sometimes. He would get. Yeah, he was.
But no, I wouldn't have messed with him. I couldn't imagine coming in the pits and,
I don't know. I don't know, but I had talked. There was people that run around with him when he was younger, and everything. I think he was a scrapper.
I never seen him do anything at the track.
No.
I just seen him get up.
No.
He got upset once or twice over something, and when it took a little bit, but man, whenever he got wound up, it was like
Yeah,
watch him go, because I was like, I remember that night down at Winchester, and I was like, holy crap! It was like, I mean, I'm glad he didn't get off the trailer, Shirley. But there was like 4 or 5 guys standing on the trailer, young guys, and he's like, "Why don't you all come down here?" And I was like, holy crap!
Me and Daryl was laughing at him.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, there's people like him. I shouldn't mention this guy's name, but another guy I feel that way about, Denny Bonebrick. Nicest guy in the world. But, like, it's like, for some reason, Denny,
Don't set them off.
like, scared, I don't want to say scares me, but, like people that you overly respect because you feel like they can really put you in their place if, you know, if the right circumstances. But other than that, I mean, I'm not trying to make your dad look bad. He was a great guy. He was a wonderful guy. It's just he was like anybody else. You take so much, and then...
Well, with him, all you had was about racing. I mean, he was right there with me. I mean, we'd go, he'd get off work, we'd go to Bedford. When we go to Bedford, he'd get off work at 5 o'clock. I'd be sitting there with the race car ready to go, and they would start at 8 up there. We'd take off and go up, up to Bedford, and he was right there with me. I mean, everywhere.
And you guys started, like, you guys built a lot of your own stuff and everything, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Was your dad that knowledgeable, or how did y'all, like, I know when you got into the 4-cylinders, like, you just, like, knew a lot about, like later on in the 4-cylinders, like, everybody knew a lot about what company to buy something from. Like, you guys knew where to get what and what to get and what it came on and all. I mean, that's
Well, I'll tell you, well, what a lot of it was, like I say, Dad worked at the Ford dealership, and they had one whole bay, that place, that had a library. Each year they would get a spec book and how things are done. That's how, I guess, I don't know if he was there at night or not, at Daryl's, when he had that one head, Elmo and all of them were there. And I had the tool to put the cam. The guy that owned the Ford dealership.
That might have been before my time, maybe. I don't know.
The guy that owned the Ford dealership in Strasburg, they had a cam tool, or tool to put the cam bearings in with. And I had it in the back of my car when I went up to Will's, because I was buying stuff off Will then when he had his. And they was putting this head together, and Elmo was there, and Jimmy and all of them, and I took and put the cam bearings in with this tool that they had, because those things there, if you wasn't careful, if you would knock them in with the regular cam bearing tool, it would break the tires off of it. So I got that in there, and then Elmo asked me, he said, "How are you keeping the lifters together?" So I ended up showing him how to do that. And I think that's kind of what that started off with Daryl and I think that's when we kind of bonded. And
that must have been right before my time, because like, the earliest I can remember is we broke a motor one night. We went to J&S Salvage, got a bottom in, put our head on, we went down, we won that night.
Yeah.
And then people would say stuff about the lifters and everything and all, and I didn't really understand it. I was new to the 4-cylinders. I didn't really understand all that stuff. People, complain about this guy's got the wrong lifters in his car, and this guy did this, and people offering them to sell them and all this kind of stuff. So, like, I was really new to it back then, that I didn't really understand a lot of that stuff, the way I do now, as far as, like, the lifters, and then I guess the whole track got away from hydraulic cams anyway.
Yeah.
But that must be how you and Daryl got.
That's how we kind of got, I guess, bonded there with that. That was I think that was the one thing.
And that's how you got turned into an alcoholic.
Wasn't supposed to bring that up tonight.
No, we'll go back to racing. So, I mean, you guys come out. How long did you run this late model?
2 years.
2 years.
What happened was I ran that, and then I got married. So that was a thing. I thought, well, with this, we wanted to buy a house and everything. I thought, well, I got to find something to do something a little cheaper than this because, even back then, running a late model was fairly expensive. So I thought, well, I'll try this 4-cylinder.
Now, they probably just come out with this class, didn't they?
Yeah, they started it up at Waynesboro first. So
you was ahead of the learning curve.
well, for this, I guess the northern part, yeah, they was we was. So
Because you won about every race, didn't you?
well, the one year, the first year that they had it at Winchester, I won 10,
Wow.
and of course Doug, he put a bounty on me, $100 bounty, and Danny Orndorff, we worked together and everything. He had one, got one, started messing with him, and I, wait.
You said you win and we're split the 100.
Well, what happened was he went and I got spun out that night and had to go to the back. And I come back up, still finished third, but Danny won. He got the bounty. So
Really?
yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Will Rouse says hello.
Hey, Will.
Hey,
Brian Jones said hello. He's vacationing in Florida.
He's in Florida.
Sounds good.
gee.
Thank you for taking the time out of
Yeah.
your sunshine to say hi to us.
Yeah.
Want me to smack him now or later, Brian?
How many years did this go on before everybody caught on?
Oh, it only took about a year.
Really?
Yeah, it was, everybody else started, doing things, but man, I eat, slept, and breathed racing. And when we got to the 4-cylinder, I was buying whole engine kits out of a place out of Iowa. I can tell you, we was paying $212 for a whole engine kit, that cam and everything,
Yeah.
for the 2300s. And to tell you how it was, I would take the camshaft and sell it for $100 because people had them 2.3s in their street cars and it would wipe cams out at them, and I was selling them out of the kit. So, and I had guy in front row, machinist Bobby Thompson. He went and done my machine work and stuff for me, and he helped Ed Hohen when he had a race car and stuff over in front row, and also he helped me out a lot with things. We tried a few things, done a few experimental things on stuff, and he was all on board for as far as doing the machine work and stuff with it.
Well, your dad probably knew, since he was a Ford mechanic, he might have known maybe things that he'd come across his mind.
Well, Dad had ideas, and we would take and see how things worked out and stuff.
Now, back then, the rules were really tight.
Oh yeah, up there they checked things. They did on them Fords, when you shave the head, it retards the timing on them.
And you wasn't allowed gears back then,
wasn't
right?
allowed to use adjustable cam pulleys.
That didn't come on till later.
Well, yeah, but I found a way around that. What we did, I had one night looking at the car. They tried everything. They knew you could see where the head was shaved, but they couldn't figure out how I got the cam timing back.
Was you allowed to shave the head?
Usually I would shave the head,
But
yeah,
you couldn't. But you couldn't
do
change
anything
it.
with the cam timing.
And you don't have to tell me, but I would say maybe you changed the keyway in the
Nope.
in the gear.
Nope. We was up there till 2:00 one morning. They was trying to figure out
Trying to figure out what you was doing.
what it done.
How did they know? They found out the cam was straight up, or
No, they knew that the head was shaved because you could see it because of distance on the bolts, but they couldn't figure out how the cam timing come. You could get the cam timing back on.
how did they know the cam time was on? They checked.
Yeah, they checked
They
that.
checked was straight up.
Yeah, they checked. They had another car in there with it. They was pulling parts off that car, putting it over on mine. They even pulled the camshaft out of my car and pulled the camshaft out of the other car.
No way.
Yeah, and put over in it.
And still couldn't find nothing.
Still couldn't find it. Couldn't figure it out.
I bet you guys were just sitting there smiling all could be.
Because
Because
Yeah.
whenever they milled the heads back then, it would retard the timing.
Yeah.
So everybody had to run with the cam timing.
Well, yeah. If you shaved a head, most of them didn't shave the heads.
All this, so they wouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, you didn't have to deal with it. But
Because you'd have all low end power.
yeah, well, like I say, they just and Bobby, it was machined, but Bobby done it for me. Bobby Thompson did. He was laughing the whole time. And that night when we come back from there, I couldn't get Dad to stop laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, he was just he said next day his sides hurt.
James Lichliter's on here.
Oh,
he
my.
says, he says angle milled.
Huh? Tell him he don't know. He wasn't even born yet.
No, I didn't hear of angle mill until
Yeah, he don't know. He wasn't even born yet.
I didn't hear of angle
He
mill.
said you wasn't even thought of yet, James.
Yeah.
I didn't hear. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't do, but I didn't hear the word angle mill on them 4-cylinders until mid '90s. I mean, maybe you knew about it before then, but I heard somebody say something about angle mill, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He's giving all your secrets out.
He don't know. Like I say, he wasn't even born yet. Well, he was. He was born in 89, so.
'89. What year was this?
This was probably 86, somewhere in there.
See, it was before his time.
Yep.
He was watching from afar.
Yep. Yeah, he was born the first year I raced 4-cylinders at Winchester.
Oh,
That
really?
must have been the first year. I guess 89 was the first year that they had the 4-cylinders.
And you won 10 races that year. I bet everybody hated you.
I had a lot.
It wasn't like that back then, though, was it?
Well, it was a lot. I mean, you know, anytime you have that, you're accused of doing. But we was ahead of. There was a lot of people that, I mean, they didn't turn them up. I mean, we was turning 8,000, 8,500 with them.
Back then.
Yeah,
They probably like, how are you doing that?
and yeah, they was
How did you learn that?
just knew that you had to do it. I mean, you got a 2300. It's got 5 main bearings in it, so your bottom end's pretty tight. You know, it's pretty tight. I mean, don't get me wrong, we broke cranks in them.
Trial and error.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how the first person figured out you had to turn it like that.
yeah.
And then you think the camshafts wouldn't have been advanced far enough to take that kind of RPMs.
Yeah. Well, when they actually did open it up, that was another thing with Tommy Irwin. With him, when we was doing it too, he knew Lenati, and I had a camshaft ground, or he ground a camshaft for me. They did to try.
Wow.
Yeah.
That had to be big time back then.
Oh, it was some stuff back then, especially with.
I mean, I know there was other areas in the United States running 4-cylinders,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, to just get in the game and be like first year, second year in the game and have people grinding camshafts for you and stuff. I mean, who is this guy?
Jimmy Safel says, I bet Shrimpy was happy watching them dig.
That's what they called Dad, shrimp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Little
remember.
guy.
I don't remember hearing him called that.
Oh, a lot of people didn't even know who he was. If he used his real name Marvin, they didn't know.
I don't remember what we called him.
He was
Mr. Lichliter.
Probably.
that was his name. Like I say, there are people you tell them about, like who you know Marvin Lichliter's my dad, and it's like I don't know none. Then you go shrimp. Oh yeah.
So, man, you made a name for yourself in the 4-cylinder class.
Well, yeah, we went and
Or you probably still are. Are you all-time leading feature winner down there?
I don't know. I've had so many people ask stuff like that. I never kept track of that. That wasn't. I mean, I knew, but as far as being obsessed with it, keeping track of, I couldn't even tell you how many wins I had.
A lot of people don't.
I mean,
They just
it
want to
wasn't-
race and
It wasn't that part of. That's just like trophies and stuff. I mean, people with my mom. All my trophies went in my bedroom down at my mom and dad's house. Dad take them in. That was it. My mom took care of my trophies.
Yeah?
She dusted them things. I mean, she was. Yeah, she was really. Dad would come up and work on the race car, and my mom would clean my house. That was
the deal.
that was the deal. I can still remember one night I went up to the house to get something. We was working in the garage, and Mom's up there, and she's got a toothbrush.
cleaning your trophies.
No, she's got a toothbrush cleaning in the house there in the bathroom. And I go back down to the garage, and I said, "You ain't gonna believe what she's up there doing." He goes, "What?" I said, "She's got a toothbrush cleaning up there in the bathroom." He goes, "Just leave her alone. She thinks she's doing something for you." So I had two good parents. I did.
Needless to say, Danny's toothbrush tasted differently after that.
Yeah. I did. I mean, that's the same way with James. James had, I mean, he had two good sets of grandparents, too. I mean, both on his mother's side and on my side.
But yeah, it just, and then everybody started catching up then, huh?
Yeah, they pretty much, after the second year, then we started doing a little bit more stuff. The second year, it wasn't really, I mean, I know people around, and I know what a lot of people was doing. But
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't,
They doing what they had to do to beat you.
yeah, which was fine. I mean,
It gets frustrating though.
well, yeah, I mean, it's that. But
That was an awesome class. It was an awesome class.
But yeah, we did that up until, well, I can't remember what. I guess when was it? Jeff and I got. It was '99 when Jeff and I got together.
Yeah, 99, and you guys went on a tear that year.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. I'm telling you.
I don't know how many races you won that year. Probably 6 or so. A lot of people, the days of winning 10 races at Winchester and other tracks was,
Well, I think when Darrell won his first race, I think he was the 13th different winner that year.
yeah.
I think. It got competitive. It got a lot of cars in that class too.
Yeah.
And
But that was back whenever,
Racing was
I'm
fun.
sure there was people cheating, but I mean, the class was so competitive.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember when I started in '99. That was my first year, the year you and Jeff got hooked up. And I mean, you run a B main, you'd be starting 13th, taking 2. And I mean, the first couple laps, your main goal was to try to not get into a wreck, so you'd get in position to get to the
I'll tell you what,
qualifying spots.
there was with the handicap and everything, especially in the heat race, there was a lot of nights that I had to run the concept.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was holding my breath getting in.
And I tell people all the time, like, I think the reason why there wasn't so many fights and arguments is because you was always racing with somebody different. Like the guy that you might have had a disagreement the week before, he might have been starting 3rd next week, and you might have been starting 12th or 13th, or vice versa. I mean, like it was so competitive. Like it wasn't just like people didn't have like a string of top 5s like they do now and stuff. I mean, like you look at somebody's like results from back then, and like somebody finished like, oh, they finished 4th and they finished 6th and they finished 12th, and you're like, oh man, you finished 12th. I was like, well, yeah, it was 65 cars.
Well, to tell you the difference was that first year I won 10 races, and the second year I won 1.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See, and I thought all your years was.
No. After that, I mean, but like I say, everybody else started. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. You had some people out here that's all they was specializing in the 4 cylinders, companies.
Yeah, look how it got.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what killed the class, not the companies.
Well, you had like Esslinger, you had Walsh and stuff like them. You could buy stuff but we still ran our.
But you always, I mean, you won races in the old, I guess the white and red car or whatever,
Mhm.
and that was you and your dad and I'm not trying to sound rude or ignorant or anything, but you guys, lack of better terms, I want to say cobble stuff together, but you guys didn't show up with
Well,
with a grocery list of Esslinger parts and stuff. I mean, you
no,
guys
we
did a
modified.
did a
we did
lot
stuff
with
that we
less.
had to do.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was they didn't have a set of scales at Winchester. They didn't have scales there. And my thinking, and I always, Smokey Unic, I always liked how his philosophy about how it done things or what done things. And one of his things was if you're out here with a car, you take a ping pong ball with a string tied to it and roll it. How much effort do you have to change the direction of it compared to a bowling ball?
Yeah.
I had that one car. The one car I had.
You had one that, like, it didn't hit the track for years.
Well, that was the one I won all the nationals with. That was the one that Will put the frame in it.
That one of the first round tube cars.
That was one of the first.
And that was a beautiful.
Yeah.
That was a beautifully built car.
Yeah, that was the one that I had. I had the car, and that's when Jeff and I got together. And the car sat in my garage. We didn't run it until after the 2 years that Jeff and I ran. But I had one car that weighed 1,938 pounds with me in it. I would spend all winter drilling holes.
I remember them days.
And doing all that stuff and everything, just lightening the car up, and we didn't have a motor, but we had a way of, I steered with the rear on some of them cars.
Did you run that car much? I remember you building it, but I don't remember it racing.
What's that though?
The one you lightened up?
Yeah. I won a bunch of races in that
Did you?
thing. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't realize you was running it then.
That was back before Jeff and I.
Okay.
But yeah, that thing, it was light, but it was, most of the weight was for the roll cage and all that stuff and everything.
1,900 pounds.
Yeah. That was with me in it. Full of fuel.
But now you was only 35 pounds back then.
Well, I put myself on a diet too, try to get,
Nah.
that's the truth. I did. I thought, man, I'm going to lose weight. I started riding a bicycle and doing all kinds of stuff and everything, and got my weight down. It was, everybody told me I was obsessed with racing, but
Now everybody likes stories, and I hate to have insight because I'd like the guests to tell the stories, but sometimes I got to refresh people's mind. I think one of the best stories was the night that they pumped us.
oh yeah.
And you guys won, and I ran third, I think. And they pumped me small. They pumped you big.
Uh-huh.
And even the guy that was in charge, I'm not going to mention his name, but even the guy that was in charge of teching that night, like he knew you was cheating. I mean, you weren't, but he knew that you was cheating. There's no way in the world. He told me there's no way in the world a 2599 motor can run like that. Like you and my brother was just whooping people. And I mean
25,994.
and I want to tell you, I was the recipient of it because I don't know if you remember or not, but I led like I don't know how many races, and you would pass me with like 2 to go.
I know. There was times I was thinking, man, I was actually feeling sorry for you.
No, you didn't have to feel that.
I did, man. I knew how hard you worked.
I know,
I
but
knew
that's
what
part
you
of
put
race.
into
That's
it.
part of
I know
racing.
it was, but I think you did win one.
And almost wrecked you.
Well, you won one, and I think I run second to you.
No, JT runs second to me.
Was it?
JT
Okay.
Spence. But that almost wrecked you that night. I didn't know it, Shirley. I don't know if you ever heard this story, but I appreciate it. It meant a lot to me. I won the race. I'm going down the backstretch, getting ready to turn the pits, and I'm not paying attention to nobody. I'm just in there, freaking in my own little world. Well, Danny comes flying up beside me to congratulate me, and I didn't know he was there. And later on, he comes in and goes, I tried to congratulate you, but you almost put me in the fence. I was like, I didn't even see you. But now, going back that night, for people that don't know, you guys won, and we was pumped. I run third, and I never won a race up till then, and I didn't want to win that way. But they marked the cylinder head, they marked the block, and you all was allowed to go to Hershey's shop on Sunday, and the tech guy drove to Hershey's shop, pulled the head off the car. You all willfully let him check bore and stroke, and the pistons was very, very loose in the cylinder.
Yeah.
And he come up from measuring, and he said, "You ain't gonna believe this." And I didn't know what it was. I knew you guys was legal, but I didn't know exactly what size it was or anything. It was your motor, but he was allowed 25. He was allowed 2,600 back then, 2,600 even. It wasn't 2,610. It was before that time.
That was 26.
And they checked the motor. It was like 25,999.
It was 25,994.
Four.
I can tell you
So
exactly.
remember
I
that?
remember.
And there was stories where you changed the engine overnight, and even the tech guy was like, "Listen, like I looked at the motor, it had the grease on, oil on the bolts, dirt on the bolts from the race. Like the stamps was my stamps. Like there's no way they changed that engine, and like the car wasn't even washed. The transmission, how dirty they are when they come off the track, and I think that." Not that he was trying to be. I mean, he wasn't trying to be. He was trying to do his job.
Yeah.
It wasn't a regular tech guy. It was a different guy.
Yeah.
But I think he was impressed after that. And I mean, he's a real good guy now. I mean, not that he was a bad guy back then, but he told me later on. He said, I'd have put money on it that motor was not legal.
Oh, I had a lot of people. That's one of the things I can claim to fame. I was the only one that ever had a motor tore down in the 4-cylinder class. And then Daryl's got the only one that had the motor claimed.
Yeah, I was there that night.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories about that. You wouldn't believe the people come up to me and tell me stuff, and I'm like, I can tell you with my hand on the Bible, that is not true. You can believe what you want to believe, but I can tell you that is not true. Because I remember us pulling the engine out. I remember the clutch. I had people come up to me, "Oh, we heard you had a triple disc clutch in, but Timmons wouldn't disqualify you because the motor was being claimed not to clutch." I'm like, somebody's lying to you, because it was like back then. It was like an Escort flywheel with with a stock pressure plate. I mean, that's like what everybody ran.
Yeah.
Nobody really ran triple disc back then. And I mean, those stories still float around over that.
Yeah.
I can imagine the stories. I mean, nowadays with the internet, can you imagine it, Dan?
Yeah, I know.
Could you imagine what the internet would be? Oh, they changed engines. They took and did this and did that and all. But no, that was one of my memories. And then you can enlighten me on this one. This is another story. He's probably like, hey, Shirley, I wish Mike would quit bringing them stories up.
Well, speaking of internet, I'm going to apologize to everybody, but I'm having some internet issues here, and with seeing the comments.
Yeah, the comments ain't coming up.
The comments aren't coming up. Well, there they are now. Let me get a couple of these comments here. Jimmy Safel says he had a shrimp on his work shirt. Was a lot of fun to be around. Talking about your dad.
Yeah.
Jeff Kershner. Can you imagine how many we would have had won if we started up front like they do now instead of starting 11th or 12th every week?
Oh, no, that's not. Ask James.
I'll
That has nothing to do with it. Ask James. He's like, we tell him that, when you got to start dead last at a heat race, when you got, 8 cars in the heat race, 10 cars in the heat race, and he goes, oh, it's nothing like that. Nothing. It's harder now.
The year, and I know this is not about me, but I'm just bringing this up. The year I won the championship at Hagerstown in 2000, I never won a race. I finished second a bunch of times. And my son still brings it up about the guy that never won a race at Hagerstown. And I said, hey, you start 11th every week and tell me how many races you win. I said, the dumbest thing I did was run for points because I started 11th every night. If you didn't qualify in the top 2 or 3 or whatever, you started further back than that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, but I take a beating for that.
Oh,
But
that's the way with him. He's like, it's not as hard as what wasn't as hard back then. But you did. I mean, and the cars I think were more equal. You had a lot
think they
more
was, too.
cars
I
that,
think they were too.
that were more equal.
and like I say, you had high car counts no matter where you went.
Yep. Yep.
And people think that they was pushovers in PA. Well, a lot of the PA guys was running old mini late model
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
And now, they may not be doing it on weekly races at like Pav Valley and
Yeah.
places like that. But like if Lincoln had a big race or something like that, some of them guys would show up with some fancy stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't remember the whole story. Maybe you can enlighten me on it. What was the story at Lincoln?
That was good. That was good that night.
I remember that you got the money,
Well, what happened?
but you wasn't supposed to or something. I don't know.
I mean, you know how we call Jeff the Chihuahua.
But everybody loves stories, old stories.
Well, you know how we called Jeff the Chihuahua. Remember that? Well, they had disqualified the winner that night, and we ran third. Ended up with running third. Well, here they are. It was a fiasco. I mean, they had run four. So I think it was
Now Lincoln only ran four cylinders once a year, twice
Well,
a year. So it wasn't like this was a weekly.
In fact, I think that was the first time they'd run four cylinders there.
Yeah, so it wasn't like this was a weekly class.
Yeah. So anyway, their tech guys was, I don't know, didn't some of the stuff. So anyway, they disqualified the winner. So the second place guy got, well, I think we'd already loaded the car up on the trailer. And we was getting ready to go. Well, here they come down there and they want about stuff. And this is like, I don't know, probably half hour after the race and stuff. So anyway, their guy comes down talking. I walk down to the payoff booth. And I asked him, I said, is everything okay now? And the guy, oh yeah, we're paying out. So I'm a name, take second place and money, and away we go. So they're there wanting on the car and everything, carrying on about it. And I walk back up through there, and I can't get Jeff away from the tech guy. So finally, I got him
You
away.
had to shake the $100 bills behind
No,
us.
no, finally, I got him off to the side. I said, Jeff, I got the money. Let's get out of here. So he goes, okay. So we get the truck, and we haul out of there. Well, the funny part about this was I got called up a couple years later on
Really?
from a guy. I don't know where he was on. He was trying to get a PA traveling for
Oh,
a
okay,
class.
okay.
He wanted to try to do that. He was asking, and I told him, I said, listen, man, I don't have any parts of that at all. And he goes, you don't? I said, no. I said, after the fiasco that they had at Lincoln that night, and I told him back when it was. He goes, yeah. He says, he said, we never did figure out. He said, somebody picked the second place money up and left. I said, they did? He said, yeah. I said, well, you want to know who that was? He goes, who? I said, me.
It ain't like you took it.
No.
I mean, you signed
I
for it.
asked him for it. I signed for it and everything. I mean, I signed for it.
Yeah.
And I just, that was kind of, and I had another guy. This had to have been 1990 or 2000. I think is when it was. It was 2000, I guess. Had a guy call me and ask me about, they was running, that's when they put the dirt on Bristol.
Okay.
Well, they wanted like a support class to run in between. I don't what the series it was there that was running on the dirt. What the dirt like at that time, I don't know who it was. Don't know which one. But anyway, they're running with that or that, and they wanted this. So they was trying to get track champions with the four cylinders together, and they was going to have this.
Can you imagine that
on Bristol
with the rules the way they?
Oh,
they
that was the big thing.
From north to south.
Yes, exactly. That was the big thing. I don't know exactly if they got anything done, but anyway, the guys down there, they wanted to. In the South, they wanted their rules, and I said, I'm not coming unless I'm not buying a bunch of stuff and doing a bunch of things.
We ran into that too.
To run into that, because they was running 7-inch tires and wheels, and we was running 8-inch up here. And
now they're running 10s.
And I wasn't gonna, and So anyway, I think he kind of just ended up. They kind of ended up dropping that, but
Down there, everything was pound per cc.
yeah.
Remember the year you went to Gaffney?
Yeah.
That's another story. That's see, I hate bringing up this stuff because I don't like telling this. I mean, I want you to tell me this stuff, but
Well, when I went down there, I drove Ashby Spiker's car.
was that down there?
Yeah, I was Ashby's down there. Ashby had the enclosed trailer, and we had a motorhome and all that. And man, we go out on, I guess it was, Thursday night that they had to practice?
Yeah.
Man,
See if you're
going
going
out-
to tell the same story I got.
Yeah, I'm going out there, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm on the track.
And Ashby's car was like state of the art.
Yes, it was.
Ashby had like, anybody knows Ashby Spiker, he had,
He had the best of the best.
yeah, he prided himself
He
on having nice stuff.
Yes, he did.
So that was a car that come from Winchester Speedway in this area that was could be a dominant car. It was top-notch car. I mean, it was top-notch equipment.
Yep.
So Danny's rolling out on the track for practice with this car that is like state of the art for Winchester Speedway. Like, and we're the baddest around, you know. And what happened, Dan?
I mean, that place there, because of the banking and everything, you just run out next to the wall and you never lifted. So I'm running and
This is back before they shortened it.
yeah. So I'm sitting there just running along. All at once, I just start getting beat in the back end on this thing. And it was like, I come back in and I think it was Daryl told me, he goes, man, that was one of the pure stock ones that they had.
Well,
It was
we was standing at the fence, and what makes it funny was you're coming down the straightaway, and this dude is just pushing you down the
Yeah.
straightaway. And Danny, the dude had a button-up shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
You could see his collar flapping in the breeze. His seat belts were loose because when he got in front of us, he repositioned himself like in the seat. And I remember looking at Daryl going, wonder if there's a junkyard around here. He's like, why? I was like, we need to go find some stock manifolds to put on this thing because the stock class you couldn't run a header.
Yep.
And I'm thinking we need to go to a junkyard and find some stock manifolds because there's some dude with a button-up shirt
Yeah.
shoving us down the straightaway.
Yep. Yeah, that was eye-opening.
Yeah, it was.
That was.
But that was one of the deals where you know more, like once
Yeah, once you've been there.
Once you've been there, like your first time was like.
Well, the thing about it was your qualifying, and
And you heard what you remember what they did there, don't you?
yeah,
Like me and Shirley was going to you guys stayed at the track.
yeah,
And me and Shirley was going to our motel. And I'm going down this road and we're looking at all these motels on both sides. And all you see is every Pinto in the United States up on jack stands. And they're all taking their lightweight clutches out and putting their heavy ones in. And like we went down with like a 19-pound or 20-some pound clutch setup
Yeah.
because that's what the rules called for.
yeah,
And one of the local guys was like, well, we run lightweight stuff on qualifying night because they don't check your clutch on
Yeah.
qualifying night. And it's like, well, that ain't helping us out.
it was.
But it was 12,000 to win, folks.
Yeah, 12,000.
12,000 four-cylinder race.
And the smoke you had to drive through.
Yeah, the
the
smoke
race was
from
going
the,
on.
they had a 55-gallon drum on fire on the backstretch. You had to throw caution from it. And then them people had them coffee cans with,
Charcoal.
and you know you're in racing country, folks, whenever you see a state police car with a Steve's Head Shed license
Yeah.
plate on the front of it.
Yeah,
But it was fun. I'll never take it back. But it was,
you all wasn't there when the school bus come through.
no, we was at the motel.
Oh man, we're there in the motorhome and people we just hear this horn blowing. I mean, it's just blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing, and doesn't stop. So I get up and I go walking out of the motorhome, and it's all these little elementary kids, and they're all hanging out the window, and they're all giving us the finger. It must have been 30 kids hanging out the window of that bus giving the finger. And the bus driver's just sitting there blowing the horn. She was,
my
and then they
goodness.
done it to us, and then they went down. Pete had his dad's motorhome, and he went down and done it to them too.
Yeah, that's the year. I know we're getting off subject like always, but that's the year that Pete Weaver put the helmet on. And he come blowing by us in that motorhome with that helmet on. That thing was a shaking and rocking. And then we get a quarter mile down the road, and there he's pulled over by the police
Police car.
for speeding with his helmet on.
Yeah,
But that was the good old days. We had a lot of fun in those 4-cylinders.
Yeah, it was.
When did you run your last race, Danny? You know?
2009, I think.
Is that right?
I think that's when it was. I think that's the one. I won that at Waynesboro.
Oh, you was down there. Okay.
Yep.
What made you quit? Your son racing, or
Yeah.
the class getting
Well,
out of hand?
he was racing at the time because he had the car he was driving, but I kind of.
Yeah, he got in the car after you.
Well, that's another whole thing right
That's
there.
right. I forgot about that. I was thinking about him running a limited car, but no, he ran the
He
4-cylinder.
ran 4-cylinder before that. What happened with that was I just kind of had other things going on, had things and stuff, and I kind of just for a couple years there, I just got out of it. And James started. He was running go-karts. He was running Shippensburg go-karts.
That's right.
And
I forgot about that.
he was running at Daryl. I think it was alcohol induced.
Somehow he's always involved.
Yeah, he calls up. He goes, "Hey," he said, "let's go win another nationals at Winchester." He said, "Pull the car out of the weeds," and it was literally in the weeds. He said, "Pull the car out of the weeds." He said, "Let's go to Winchester." He goes, "I'll buy the tires." So anyway, that's all it took for James. James went down. He got the car out. I was working because I was telling you about the pools. That's when I was doing the subcontracting of the pools and stuff, putting them up. So I didn't have a whole lot of time. So he got the car ready, basically, himself.
James says mechanics race at Winchester.
Oh, is that right?
I was never at mechanics race at Winchester. It was
It says-
mechanics race at Shippensburg.
If you all knew how many times we would clean the weeds out of the car and go win races.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shippensburg had mechanics races.
Yeah.
But you didn't ever run the car up there, did
Yeah.
you?
I ran
Did
that.
you?
Yeah, Will and I raced together in that. He was driving Frieger. No.
Friedrich's car. That's
Yeah.
a picture of him with Friedrich's car.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember James coming up,
Yeah.
but it was later on.
Yeah. Well, what happened with that was he got it out. He got the car ready and everything. And then it was like, Daryl and I, man, them guys got a lot more than what we had back then. We've been out of it for 2 years or more here. And reality set in. Well, I told him, I said, man, I said, I hate that he went and got the car ready to go because he basically did it himself, got everything ready to go himself. Daryl goes, well, let's take him to Shippensburg. Let's let him run it at Shippensburg. So I thought, all right, we'll do that. So they was running the Nationals at Winchester that weekend. We went to Shippensburg. So I'm sitting there with him. I said, listen, this is a tight track. I said, I know how I said, you can't just run down in the corner, pick the throttle up. I said, because you're not going to have enough room to bring the car off the corner. So they go out and warm up. So what does he do? Goes right down in the thing, drives that thing down in the corner real deep, picks the throttle back up, comes out, slam, pancakes it right up against the wall. 2 tires, 2 wheels. So he brings it in the pits. Didn't even get a half a lap on in warm-ups. Brings it in the pits. We come in there and put tires and wheels back on. Now, I never said nothing to him. And got the car all back ready for him to go out in the heat race. I said, do you know what you did wrong? He goes, and I can still remember everything. He goes, I think so. So anyway, he goes out and he runs decent in the heat race. Does that. Well, then feature time comes up. He's starting kind of in the back of the feature. So feature goes on. He comes on through, goes on, starts getting up, and I think he got up to like 5th or 6th, and he ended up getting in a wreck. Had to go to the back again. So then after that, he gets back up, comes back up again, and comes through the field, gets in a wreck again, or gets in it again, has to go to the back. Well, then the last one, I don't know what he done, but he got up on the wheel, and he finished 4th. But the way the cars were staggered out with that, first place guy was right in front of him. So
I just remember the night we was up there, Cody was racing, and you guys come up, and he just was like, I hate this place.
I think that was probably the second time he was there.
Yeah.
The first time he was there, it was pretty good. But when we come down the road, Daryl called me. He goes, "Hey," he said, "I think we got a driver coming down the road."
Yeah.
So, that was the end of the go-karts, and then that was the four-cylinder when he drove that.
And you all had Daryl there to help you, and
Yeah, well, we had all that going on and everything. He was.
well, let me ask you a question. Is there what's your biggest win or most memorable moment in racing? You have one? You kind of took everything to stride. You never really got.
I never really got up not.
You acted the same way no matter whether it was a dollar.
I had one my second year that I drove. There was this driver, which I'm not going to say who it was, but him and I kind of had a rivalry going. He had won a bunch of races a year before, and then I come in.
Daryl Schimmel.
This was in the grocery getter class. So, anyway, he had won a bunch of races, and I can't say we was enemies, but there was a little bit of friction there between us. But anyway, he's leading the race, and I'm coming off of 4, and I'm coming down for the checkered, and he's got his hand out waving at the crowd, and I buzzed him on the outside and won.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was probably as far as the thing.
Man, I couldn't imagine that.
But yeah, he was.
I see people doing that, and I always think.
And he was. They were the pit crew, everybody. It was, and of course I had the rinkers with me then, and there's a couple that was with me. They could get pretty feisty. it was, but yeah, we that's probably as far as any. That's
Okay, well, I don't want to put you on the spot. I only know things from personal feelings. Is one of your best moments in racing something you did or something your son did?
I don't know if it. I mean, there's things that he's done. I mean, his first race win was something that I never did, never could. I mean, you had to support classes at the Winchester 200.
Yeah.
And that was his first race win.
I just know that me personally, there was things that I did that I was very proud of, but it seemed like later on in life, if somebody says, what was your happiest moment in racing or what was your biggest moment in racing, it would most likely be something he did.
Yeah, probably so. But like I say, that was pretty that night there. Like I say, his first win being one of them that I never did.
And you all just coming off of a championship season with a bunch of wins last year.
I don't have anything to do with that. The only thing I do is scrape mud and put fuel in the car.
Come on now, Danny.
That's all Daryl and I do. Just ask Daryl.
We won a championship at Hagerstown
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't you help with that one?
Yeah.
Or are you scraping just different mud, different state?
We don't know. I don't know anything about that car at all. I have nothing to. Just ask him. I know nothing.
See, you're almost in the same boat I am. I know some, but I don't know much. I know how to start the motor. I know how to make sure the motor's running good. I know how to do all that stuff. But when it comes to anything to do with the shocks or anything like that, I'm at the concession stand eating the.
I've tried to, when he first got into doing this, or when we first got to doing this, I tried to get as much because that really never interested me.
I can't get
That
it to stick with me.
But, and my literacy and all that stuff and everything, but
it's very, very technical for anyone listening that don't realize how much is involved with these late model cars anymore. It's very, very technical. Years ago, we scaled stuff. Someone would be really good with setting a car up on the scales, and they would come and say, hey, either you or whatever, we need to do this to the left rear, need to do this right rear, put some weight here, put some weight there. Nowadays, I hear people scaling again, but 90% of them put a shock on a machine that tells them what poundage it is at a certain height, and they have a height that they want a poundage at or whatever, and they take the shock off and bolt it on the car and go racing. I mean, that's how most. There's adjustments at the track, but I mean, a lot of this stuff is like a thing of the past. Whenever like we had scales, and
Yeah.
they tell me, well, we don't need to scale the car. We just put it on this machine. I'm like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep. Well, that's
How can you tell that by that thing on that machine?
that's like when they first started scaling cars. I mean, back in the 70s, late 70s when they first was doing that.
The old grain scales.
They had.
Who do you think started that?
I have no idea who done.
And what do you think they was looking for?
I don't know who.
It had to be something with NASCAR, you think?
I don't know. I don't know what.
Never thought about that before.
But if you look at what we got now, or what you're running in these dirt late models, I think that's probably more complicated and everything than what the NASCAR stuff is.
Nowadays it is, since they got them cookie cutter
Yeah.
cars.
I mean, I can't watch it anymore, so I'd rather sit down and watch a dirt race.
I watch it if it ain't nothing else to watch.
But yeah, we.
Excuse me.
Sneeze on me?
Philly's hairspray made me sneeze.
Yeah.
What hairspray?
I'd say her makeup did it, but she's stock today.
Yeah. Stock.
She's stock.
Yeah.
See how I get in trouble? Danny, anything else you want to talk about? We can go as long as we need. They told me, they said there ain't nothing. We can lock up at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to bring up some of the fun stories. I know you had a lot. I know you and your dad and your son even, involved too, but you guys were well-respected racers and clean racers.
Some.
Well,
my philosophy.
I was always taught was you give what you.
That's exactly. That's the way I was. I raced you the way you raced me.
I mean,
You had a good fan base. I remember that because I could hear them in the stands hollering when you'd win.
Yeah.
and Cody and Jamie and James, they ran the heck. Danny had to quit racing because every time he come to the house to work on the car with Jeff, those go-karts couldn't hold up any much longer.
Yep.
I'd bring the two up that I had, and then Cody had his. That's pretty cool. That one picture you got on there, when standing there with Pat.
When he won the.
No.
Oh no, Cody was in that one. Yeah.
Well, do you know who else is in that picture?
Who?
Ryan Piddington.
Is that right?
That's Ryan on the.
Okay, I didn't know
on the
that.
right hand side there. I got that picture at the house. I thought that's pretty cool. We got 3 kids in there that drove race cars.
That was one of your best looking cars.
Yeah.
Man, those cars you had in my brother's, they was ugly. I'm sorry.
Well, Pat. Well, that was after your.
No, the black car wasn't bad,
Yeah.
but the brown car was a little bit.
Well, that was afterwards, right there. That if you seen that car up close or had that picture doesn't. That thing had the the heavy metal flake on it, and Pat.
That's when Pat started painting your
That's
cars.
that's when Pat was doing that.
What's he up to?
He's retired. Well, I can't say retired. Jordan, his son's has a genetic disorder
Really?
that he's at. So
He was a good old guy.
yeah. Oh, Pat's great.
He painted my Dodge at one time. Drove her all the way down there. He painted her red, and we drove her all the way back home, and he wouldn't take a penny.
He was. I mean, Pat still is. I mean, him and I are still. We still talk. Yeah, I mean everything. He has a property as close to mine that he has that I would mow that for him because he was with Jordan and everything. But since he sold the business and he's kind of pretty much everything in as far as with taking care of him.
And people's life changes.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. I
Oh,
mean,
like I say, Pat and I's probably been friends. He worked at the Ford dealership with my dad.
really, I didn't know that.
Him and Dad, they kind of bonded. In fact, the first 4-cylinder that I raced at Winchester, that was Pat's car.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat had we built him a car for Waynesboro, and he ran it up there a couple times. And then
You guys, Jeff helped you guys build a guy's car, but it
Yeah.
wasn't him. It was
we
somebody
built,
else.
We built Larry Kleindance a car.
That's the one. He was winning all the races down there or something. And
Well, he ended up Larry never had a car. That was. I didn't think it was.
it was a
worth
red car.
I
Dad
was-
had a picture of it in the office.
I was down at his house one day, or down at his garage one day. He had a Pinto, and where the hood hinge goes back into it, I'm there leaning over top of it, and we're in an old barn kind of type thing. And I'm there. Next thing I know, look, and there's a rat right up alongside my face coming out, and it come out of that hole. Larry's just a good old boy.
I just remember hearing stories where you guys built that car for him, and he went down to East Side and was winning all the races down there. Everybody thought it was illegal and all this stuff, and it's like, and then somebody gave Dad a picture. It hung in the office till they just redid the office here a few months ago, but it was a red car, I think, with white numbers or something. Was that? Pretty sure it was red.
Yeah, it was red. It was like 36, I think. Was the color.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Larry's. That was the one that we built. That Jeff come down that weekend, stayed at my house, and we pretty much put that roll cage and all that stuff in that thing that weekend. We worked on it.
And that guy went out and was really successful in it.
He was. Well, Larry still comes. He's great too. He gave his shirt off his back. That's another one that I met through racing.
And Daryl really, I helped Daryl, and then he really helped me, him and Will and everything. And then how did you guys? You guys wasn't the best of friends in the beginning, was you?
Who, me and Daryl?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
We got to hear that story before we leave.
Always Winchester one night. I can't remember what. Something happened to me, and I was in the back, and I think Daryl, he just started driving. I think, didn't he, or something?
I don't see. That's before my time. I didn't start helping him till.
I can't remember.
Right. I think the one or 2 years, the last 2 years of the 32.
Yeah. Well, I beat the back bumper off. I did. I was trying to get around him, and it just seemed like he was everywhere. And that was one of the times where I don't know if I got spun out or what happened there with that. But anyway, I was pretty frustrated then. Yeah, I was kind of letting my frustration get the best of me.
Yeah.
But things turned out all right. That's
Yeah, because I guess I met you through Daryl, probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good friendships that's been made through racing.
I know Danny won a lot of races, and you did a lot. You did a lot with Les.
well, we just my thing back then was, I working on the car. I didn't have a lot of money to put into it or anything, but my thing was I wasn't going to let anybody outwork me.
Yeah, you would drive all the way to Hagerstown
Well, I'd work-
two or three nights a week.
Well, I would work 12-hour shift at the plant, get off at 7 o'clock, and I would drive up here. And Jeff and I would work on the car sometimes till 2 o'clock in the morning. The first one we had, it was out at Pete Weaver's house, and I had that diesel pickup truck at the time. Well, Lori, she'd be in there asleep, and I'd leave out of there about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and start that diesel up and rattle her out of bed. Because I think the first year we had it there, then the second year we had it over here, didn't we?
Yeah, then he had it up at up there close to the airport one time too. There's a barn up there or something they rented. But I don't know if they worked on it there or just stored it there. I can't remember.
But yeah,
It was good times though.
I was up here sleeping in the camper some nights and stuff.
And Mike's mom was always a person for birthday parties. And, Danny, you was part of our family. I remember her bringing a birthday cake, and there is a picture of it, her presenting you with a birthday cake in Victory Lane.
Wow.
She has a picture of that.
I don't remember that.
She does.
I remember James
that.
winning the bike races down there.
That was.
He probably had a lightweight bike.
Well, no. Look, what it is if you look at the picture, the helmet's on backwards.
He was going the wrong way.
No. Of course, him being stubborn the way he is, he thought it was more aerodynamic that way.
Must have
That was
It worked.
oh, that was he was stubborn as what he is now.
Oh,
But yeah, he said, I said, that's not the way it goes. Yeah, it does too. It's more aerodynamic that way. I had just bought him that bike that morning.
did you?
That was the first, when he rode. It was like,
Danny was walking through Walmart and he was picking them up. This one's too heavy. This one's too heavy.
you might be right about that. But
He went home and drilled holes in it.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if it had time, it probably would.
Don't hit no bumps, James, or you might be broken too on the freaking track land.
But he was like, they started in rows, and I can still remember him going down the backstretch. I mean, just
He was kind of lanky too.
well, that
you
thing
know?
had 21 speeds in it. On it, I think he had it at 21st going down the backstretch, and then he done got out in front of everybody. He was really puffing when he came across the finish.
Needed a parachute to get him stopped.
He was, yeah,
Man, the good old days. I'm telling you, that was the good old days.
Yeah.
yeah.
I miss those days. I really do. I appreciate your friendship, Danny, and I appreciate everything you did for me. I'm glad you didn't let me win. I wouldn't have wanted that, but
Well, I knew that,
But I do.
It was just like I know how frustrated
I
you had
appreciate
to
you
be.
letting me be in the way.
I know how frustrated. I mean,
I wasn't really frustrated.
well, not frustrated, but I mean, there's a couple races that you was.
I enjoyed it because I didn't enjoy it, but I mean, I enjoyed it because I could get out of the car and I could still go to victory lane. No, there was a pride in that too. Even though I wanted to win, there was a pride in that. But
I do got some more comments
Oh,
here,
do you?
even though I can't
see
see them
the internet on the
on the
computer
internet
is
here,
is
but I
stuck.
can see them from my phone.
Okay, Shirley, go away.
Chucky Johnson, legend #1 of the best four-cylinder drivers ever, and
See?
two-time radio host of the year.
Yeah,
Carolyn
congratulations on that.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that.
Carolyn Coots, Barry used to weigh his car with bathroom scales.
Yeah, they was another good family
Yeah.
back in the day.
Oh yeah.
James Lichliter, you didn't talk about the last time he was in a dirt late model.
Oh. Practice day.
Practice?
Yeah.
They don't call you barefoot, do they? They call me barefoot because I got in Cody's car. I had to take my shoes and everything
Well,
off.
So he fit.
I about gave him a heart attack
Oh yeah.
down there because they did.
How many times did you run it?
I didn't run it. I went out and he had practice. He was practicing one Sunday down at the racetrack, and I just wanted to see what it was like. I told him, I'm going to drive.
I did the same thing.
I got in it. The first time I nailed down that thing went sideways and it was heading towards the fence. It didn't scare me because I was in the car.
Yeah.
But Daryl said it about gave him a heart attack. James a heart attack.
All I remember was the corner was the easiest part.
Oh yeah.
When you throw that thing in the corner and hit the pedal, that thing was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But going down the straightaway, I was so used to a steering box
yeah.
that like I
twitching.
couldn't. It was twitchy. And then I lifted one time when that thing come down off the bars. It tried to go. It tried to go out the exit.
But so what got me
And
about it was all the
speaking
side light.
of Barry Miller, Barry was leaving, and he stopped at the edge of the guardrail and got up on the roof of his truck because he seen me getting in the car, and I was like, "This is too much pressure." A buddy of mine got a cell phone out and was taking videos, and I was like, "This is way too. All I want to do is make a couple laps, see what it feels like." And I had all these people watching, and the steering wheel was up all the way, and I think the visor was going, and had socks on with no shoes because I had boots and knees jammed up, and you know how small them cars
Yeah.
is. Because I imagine you probably can't never get near getting in James's car.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
You must be smaller than I think you are.
Well, he's smaller than you.
I didn't say that.
But yeah, I got like I say that I wanted to try it one time just to see. The containment seat was a little bit. With it, but
It just goes to show you how easy they make it look.
yeah,
And I'm not talking about our boys. I'm talking about people that race them.
yeah,
You see the things that they do in them cars. It's like amazing. It's like people. I don't think people realize it. And also, it also shows you that when people see somebody bump somebody or get into somebody, like firsthand how quick everything happens. Like if everybody up in the stands that complains about somebody bumping would get in one of them cars and
Yeah.
and see
See how-
how quick it happens.
Yep.
Like they would realize that it's not, like, a lot of the stuff's not intentional.
Yeah.
It's people just, things
Yeah,
happen.
even in others. I mean, you don't. I mean, there's some people that's
Rougher than the
reckless.
others.
Yeah, rough around the edges or rough.
There's people that you like racing with and people you don't like racing with.
Yeah.
I was that way. I mean, maybe I was one of them to them. I don't know, but just,
Well, like I say, I never really. The people I tried to race them the way that they raced me.
I never knew you or heard of you as being a dirty racer or anything like that I know of.
No,
I
I
mean,
was just a cheater,
I don't even remember that, but it probably was.
and they was. But
I'm-
like I say, if a lot of people knew what we.
I remember back in the day, we kept track of lap times, and I always knew if you could run in the 19s.
Hmm.
Back then, 19s for a four-cylinder was like that
Yeah.
was front runner speeds, and you and Jeff had that car in the 19s a lot. But it was also, like you said, there was a lot of time spent. Not that others didn't,
Yeah,
but it was a lot of time
but
spent.
there was a lot of it didn't either.
Yeah. I mean, even,
that was what got me the thing that I can say that really got me. Can't say or well was people would come in, they would accuse you of cheating, and then when they come in, they got the same dirt,
same
on
mud on the
they left the racetrack with.
I remember ones that their motor be missing, and they come back the following week and unload it,
Yeah,
and
still-
it still be missing. And you're like, did you think it was going to fix itself? But that's just the way. I think that has stepped its game up too, Danny. I think there's more people nowadays working on cars too.
yeah.
Like back then, it was like some people didn't want to do hardly anything. Nowadays, I think everybody's
Well,
working on their stuff.
with him, I mean, I don't help him out as much as what I probably could. I mean, if he gets behind or whatever, I try to. But James does a lot. I mean, it's a lot of him.
Well, congrats on you guys' championship last year and a good, awesome season, like 5 or 6 wins. And like I say, I'm glad that they call you my friend. You and your family is very good people, and appreciate everything you did for me. I'm sure there was times where you gave me pointers and tips. It was nice having 2 guys in my corner that kind of felt like was the head of the four-cylinder guys there, and then I could always go see Will, and Will was like the head of.
Yeah.
To me, he was everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew how to do it all. So,
Yep.
anything else, Danny?
No.
I appreciate you driving all the way up here to be on the show. I know a lot of people watch the show, love stories, and hopefully we gave them some old racing stories, and hopefully we talked about everything you wanted to talk about. Thanks to my wife, and thanks to everybody here at WRGG, and also Todd Ward of TA Ward Construction. He had the clay breaker there at Path Valley last Saturday and had extra money on the line for the 270 teams. And, so I don't know whether to tell you wear your coat or wear a T-shirt anymore. You walk out, we was sweating Saturday at the Easter egg hunt, and then we're wearing coats today. So, but everybody keep warm or stay in the shade, one or the other. And hopefully maybe we'll see you next Tuesday with Danny Lichliter and Shirley and me, and have a good rest of the week and great weekend.